It's Wednesday, and you all know what that means. It's time for a Cover Price Top 10. Absolutely, the monsters are taking over. And a surprise, maybe, at number 1. Let's take a look at the books that made the list. Up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hello, panelologists. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. And before we get started, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the link to this video, or description, I should say, for links to my eBay store, my email, my whatnot, and my what's the other thing? My Instagram. And you can check out. I also have a link to the Taurus Auctions winter auction that's coming up on December 19th. It's starting a lot of high grade slabs in that, including like an 8.5 ASM 121, a 9.0 First Black Cat, a 9.4 First Hobgoblin, a 9.4 ASM 300, a lot of ASM stuff, a 5.5 First Vision. So a lot of cool books coming up there. There's some friends of mine that run that, so I'll have a link down there as well. And we're going to get started with the Cover Price Top 10. I do this every week. Cover Price is a third-party comic book price aggregating service. You can get a subscription. They don't compensate me for these videos, but I do it every week. They grade, or they have prices for both graded and raw comic books, and that raw comic book pricing is something unique to Cover Price. And they also put together articles and lists, and this top 10 is one of the lists. We kind of like to break it down week by week. And a lot of recent books, but sometimes you get some older books on there, and these are the books that are trending in the aftermarket. So let us take a look at the books on this list. And we're going to start right here at number 10, Mark Spears' Monsters, number 1, this Dracula cover, homaging Incredible Hulk 340. And the Mark Spears Monsters covers have been going bananas, as we will see as we plow our way through this list. And this is no exception. About a $40 you're going to grab this book for an 8.5. Where did an 8.5 come from? That must have been damaged in shipping, came through. This has been, this is issue number 1, which came out in September. There are only 2 on the census, the 8.5 that sold for $43 and 198. There are more out there. And I imagine that these books will get graded. The thing about this is number 2 is starting to come out. But I think that number 1 kind of flew under the radar. A lot of people ordered number 2 and so on. So there are more number 2s out there, I guess, than number 1s. And there are a lot of variant covers, as we will see. Let's go to number 9 on the list. And it's Mark Spears' Monsters number 2. Another McFarlane homage. This homage is Spawn number 1, also with Dracula on the cover. And this is the cover B, about $20 book if you can grab it. And let's take a look at what Cover Price has to say. About number 10, the Incredible Hulk 340 homage. Here's another phenomenal Dracula cover. This one homages McFarlane's Incredible Wolverine cover. In place of Wolverine, we have the King of the Vampires, who's being held back by a priest who's holding a silver cross. The artwork is remarkable, and for fans of Marvel homages, a must-have to add to your monster collection. And number 9, Spawn number 1 is consistently hottest in the aftermarket selling comics. If there ever was a pose for the Prince of Darkness to pay homage, this would be it. Dracula features in this stunning artwork for a cover B variant. While other variants may be increasing in cost, this book stays within an affordable range. It's cover B, not a ratio variant. For those who are trying to read the series without breaking the bank, this is an awesome cover to add to your collection. Let's go to number 8, and it is Mark Spears' Monsters number 1. This is the Trick or Treat variant, the non-mole error. See the woman on the left of the cover, her shoulder, there is an error where there's like a spot on her shoulder that looks like a mole. So anyway, another one. This is the second print of issue number 1. It came out the day before Halloween, and it is going for about $30. You can see where this list is going. If you're looking for the Mole second print cover, this book is it. The cover may look familiar, as a few weeks ago, a misprint on the cover led to a chase for the infamous Mole cover. This book is just the regularly printed second print cover of the popular first issue of the series. The current near mint raw price for this book and its error are fairly close. So it really comes down to a matter of preference. And this week, the fans chased down the Mole-less cover. Not a Mole, Mexican edition, but a Mole. Let's go to number 7 on the list, and it's Mark Spears Monsters, issue number 2. This is the Bird City Comics second print Wizard of Oz face-off, which is limited to 200s. We have a Wicked Witch and Dorothy facing off, and I think this is the time for this cover to come out, with Wicked just recently coming to theaters. There was another Wicked Witch variant, I think also by Bird City, that made the list a week or two ago. Anyway, this book is selling for about $60. Not a lot of sales tracked here on Covrprice, but let's see what the article has to say about this issue. Wicked was a national phenomenon even before the debut of the film. However, the film did help take the story from Broadway to the big screen, make it available to even more fans. While the initial production was plagued with rumors and a little negativity, the film defied gravity and became a widely praised movie. Last week, a Wicked Witch variant was a top seller in our top 10 for the second printing. This week, the Wicked Witch goes face to face with Dorothy in this retailer exclusive, also limited to 200 copies. Are there going to be people that are trying to track down like all these monsters variants? I don't know. It seems to me that this is almost entering do you poo stage. Although there is a story and each issue is another installment in it. But this does come from a series of trading cards, so the cover art really is what's selling this. I should read the story and see what the excitement is about, if there's anything to it. I've heard some good things about it, but that is number 7 on the list. Let's go to number 6, and it's Mark Spears Monsters, issue number 2. This is the Ultimate Comics Amazing Spider-Man 601 homage, limited to 500, and this one's selling for what? About $100, close to it. Are you ready for the monsters? They've swarmed over the last half of the top 10 list. First, it's homage to the famous J. Scott Campbell cover, Amazing Spider-Man 601. In place of Mary Jane, there was an equally attractive red-headed vampire. Instead of Spider-Man swinging outside the window, we see a bat flying off in the distance. The devil's in the details, with nice attention to the other props in the scene. Is it the props? I don't know. A great store exclusive that deserves a top spot this week. Let's go to number 5, and we'll take a little bit of a break, and we'll go to Galactica, Daughter of Galactus. This is from 2010. There was a digital comics exclusive. Anyway, this book, I guess about $45 in high grade, a 9.6 just sold for $100. And if we look at the Go Collect data, there are only 27 on the census, and only 5 of those are 9.8s. This is, it wasn't a popular title. And the most recent sale of a 9.8 was $135 back in April. I think people speculating that Galactus's daughter will be part of the MCU. I wouldn't hold my breath on that. 14 years ago, the daughter of Galactus was revealed to the world, and that was pretty much it. Who's her mom? Does anybody know? Leave that in the comments if you know. There wasn't a ton of hype behind the series, and the character was left forgotten. Today, NetEase Games and Marvel have selected Galacta to narrate and be the face of the immensely popular hero FPS game Marvel Rivals. Okay, there's some reason behind it. Featuring the character in this way has sparked new interest in the character that couldn't come at a better time. In this current comic book time period, character popularity is driven by media presence, and Galacta is a superstar. Aside from her feature in Marvel Rivals, she is currently the featured card in this month's season pass in the popular card battler app Marvel Snap. Her debut on the app was also very popular, as her card has been part of meta deck builds. It is safe to say that Galacta is reaching new heights of popularity. So now I have to check to see. Galacta, Daughter of Galactus. Doesn't say. She has a daughter. out of continuity one shot by Tom Briefport. Celestial parasite revealed to have spawned a daughter who secretly lives on Earth, working as a doctor and superhero while seeking to suppress her own hunger, attempting to use the ultimate nullifier to prevent herself from being driven to consume the planet, and realize that she's pregnant. Okay. Yeah, that's... I don't know if she even has a second appearance. So, again, I don't know enough about Galacta to have informed information. Let's go to number 4 on the list. And number 4 on the list is All New Venom 39, the first cover appearance of the All New Venom. This is the Carlos Gomez Foreshadow cover. About a $15 to $20 book. Last week, the New Venom quickly appeared in the first issue of their All New Venom series. Not much else was revealed about this New Venom, except that Dylan Brock was actively hunting down the new symbiote and narrowed it down to 4 individuals in the Marvel Comics universe. In this book, the cover marks the first time we see the New Venom and all their gold highlights. The gold likely means that the Venom symbiote is carrying Egenrak, the anti-Carnage. How that will come into play is still a mystery. We've had our eye on this book since FOC, and we're excited to see where it goes. I guess, there's enough Venom fans out there. The one thing is, pretty sure we're not seeing Dylan Brock in the MCU. Just saying. Number 3 on the list, DC comic, Batgirl number 2, the Skylar Partridge 1 in 25 variant, the first full appearance of Calden. This book is selling for upwards of $40 at near mint. The cover A is about a $4 book. The first time we wrote about this book was last week in our Day After Wednesday review. It was highlighted as a book to keep an eye on due to the debut of a new villain, Calden. More importantly, retailer incentive books for a key issue tend to have a habit of picking up on the aftermarket due to their increased rarity. Additionally, most fans are expecting the debut of this new villain to occur in Batgirl number 1, making the appearance of Batgirl number 2 a nice surprise. I have to be honest, I want my Batgirl to be Barbara Gordon. I'll even take Betty Kane, but that's me. Anyway, we're going to number 2 on the list, and it is Venom War number 5, the introduction of the all-new Venom symbiote. $10 for this book that came out 2 weeks ago. The highly anticipated All New Venom number 1 debuted last week, ending with 4 suspects about the identity of the new Venom host. However, 2 weeks ago, Venom War number 5 had an explosive debut of a new Venom symbiote. Egenrak, the anti-Carnage, the all-gold symbiote featured on this cover, had a brief moment of heroism before soon being left for dead. In order to protect Dylan, the new Venom symbiote left its host. When we see it last, it is having a conversation with the original host, Eddie Brock, about making a deal for their mutual survival. Fast forward to last week's release, we have a time gap between these final moments and the reveal of this all-new Venom. The story arc will be a fun read to try to identify who is behind the new Venom. So I guess there'll be some keys coming here and, people jumping on. Whether or not this is important, what it has going forward, I don't know. But let's go to number 1, and it is a book you love, and you probably have. Spawn number 1 from 1992. First of the ongoing series. This is a $20 to $25 book. And let's take a look at the graded price data. There are 26,869 copies on the census, 610s, 799s, and over 12,500 9/8s, which make up about 40% of the population. And we can see here, not much changing. This book, somebody got a good deal for $100. It's about a $130 book, $145 here, $169. And if we look over time, slowly increasing, right? It really didn't hit $100 in a graded 9.8 until about 2017. And then, it kind of was just hovering around there. And all of a sudden, the comic boom drove it all the way up to 266. It's been sliding back down ever since, but still above where it was pre-COVID. And there's always movie speculation. Spawn dominated the aftermarket this week with 110 copies sold. Listen, if you have a copy of Spawn number 1, you're going to sell it. If it's in good condition, a high grade. Usually has consistent weekly sales totaling between 34 copies on the aftermarket. However, it habitually makes a huge leap However, it habitually makes a huge leap onto our top 10 list whenever news hits. Why the massive jump this week? 2 weeks ago, Todd McFarlane announced he would return to full writing responsibilities on the series, beginning with Spawn number 360 debuting January 1st. A quick browse through a new comic site will show you just how much hype this generates. Any headline related to Spawn highlight this news, with fans eagerly awaiting the series' new direction. Not to mention, Spawn movie talks are still floating around online. That's about all they're doing, even if we haven't gotten an update on production yet. Regardless, Spawn is a timeless character with a loyal following that can generate tons of heat in the aftermarket. So, yeah, Spawn number 1 is, it's always going to be a key, but there are plenty of them out there. Not difficult to find. Let's take a look at the runners-up. Number 11, the Absolute Batman falls out of the top 10. All the Absolutes from DC fall out of the top 10. Absolute Batman, cover A, coming in at number 11. Mark Spears' Monsters, number 1. This has been, I guess, over the course of the run, the most popular cover, the Bridezilla, cover E for number 12. At number 13, All In Special, number 1, which has been kind of slowly ratcheting up. It was high on the list last week. This is the first appearance of Absolute Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Then number 14, another version of Mark Spears' Monsters. This is cover A for issue 1, the Looking Down on You cover. And then number 2, a EC Comics homage. And number 16, the issue number 2 cover that I picked up, the Creature in the Black Lagoon homage, or feature, the creature feature as they call it here. Number 17, Absolute Batman, the logo foil. I'm not a fan of the logo foils. There's just too many of them. Sorry. Number 18, why not? New Mutants 98, first appearance of Deadpool. Number 19, Mark Spears' Monsters number 1, the ASM 129 homage. There are only 300 of these. This is from Borderlands. And number 20, Absolute Batman number 1, the foil virgin cover. So that's going to do it for our list this week. The top 10, really heavily dominated by Mark Spears' Monsters. What do you think? Has anybody read that title? Is anybody collecting it? Has anybody picked up any of these at their comic shop or in the aftermarket? Let me know in the comments below. Always appreciate the comments. I'd like to thank you all for stopping by and watching the video. In the meantime, you can take a look at a couple.